you could introduce the next presenters.
Yes, sure. So our next presenter is Mohammed. He is a dual enrolled who is in Montgomery County in Germantown, Maryland. He is passionate about biotechnology and pharmacology as he follows the biotechnology pathway as his major at MC. Aside from studying, Mohammed has launched several passion projects relating to science and is currently an immunology research intern at Bejouln. Mohammed, the stage is yours.
Much safe. I will now share my screen. Okay, so for my project, I decided to research AI in the biotech pipeline, a new era of innovation. So an important question is, why do we combine the two? So as we know, biotechnology and artificial intelligence are rising fields that are constantly gaining prominence. So by combining the two fields, we can allow for we can maximize amazing results. But what are the specific reasons why we do it in the first place? So here I came up with the four most important reasons. So the first one is big analysis data. So biotechnology, as we know, generates massive amounts of complex biological data, which can range from genomic sequences, protein structures, clinical trial results, and what we can do to rapidly process this is we can use AI to analyze this data quickly and efficiently with its complex pattern recognition. Another of its application for why we combine the two is speeding up research and development, or R&D. So AI revolutionizes R&D by accelerating drug discovery, reducing costs, and improving success rates through data-driven predictions and automation. AI enables faster analysis of complex biological data, optimizes clinical trials, and shortens development timelines from years to months, which, as we know, doing research and development for things like drug discovery does take a lot of time, upwards to years. So that can really help in that sector. Another reason is reduction, which is a common trend in other fields besides biotechnology, but it still applies. So AI reduces costs in biotech by minimizing experimental failures, automating repetitive tasks, and optimizing resource use. This leads to faster, more efficient processes, saving millions in drug development and research expenses, which we know is very expensive. And the last one, which is arguably the most important and the one that's really gaining prominence in the biotech field with AI, is complex modeling. So AI excels at modeling complex biological systems by identifying patterns and relationships within massive data sets. It can predict molecular interactions, stimulate biological processes, and uncover insights that are too intricate for traditional analysis using humans. So as we progress through the presentation, we will gloss over all these points. So the first one that I want to talk about is AI and drug discovery. So AI really helps with drug discovery and efficiency and time reduction to optimize results because there can be a very high failure in the industry, which can sometimes reach as upwards to 90% in most cases. So first is target identification. AI helps scientists identify specific biological targets like proteins or genes that are involved in diseases. So AI has tools to find markers and other things where we can look for disease in specific genes, short tandem repeats, and things like that. It can pinpoint genomic data to pinpoint a protein responsible for cancer growth, giving researchers a clear starting point for drug development. Secondly, the virtual screening of drug candidates. So AI can rapidly screen millions of chemical compounds to predict which ones can interact best with a biological target. One example of this is the platform Atomwise, which uses AI to virtually screen compounds, which saves years of lab testing and narrowing options to the most promising candidates. Um, Also is drug design and optimization. So AI can design new molecules with specific properties like high effectiveness and low toxicity, just finding the perfect range for specific drugs that we can use to cure diseases. An example of this is in silico medicine, which is like a stimulation using computers, which especially uses AI to design a new drug. And this was used to find a new drug for fibrosis in just 18 months, where it normally takes years for drug discovery. It can also predict drug behavior. So AI models can predict how drugs will behave in the body, including absorption, toxicity, and side effects, but even before lab testing begins. So AI tools stimulate how a drug interacts with organs to identify potential risks and also helps avoid costly failures during clinical trials, which are inevitable, as we know. Also, it can accelerate preclinical and clinical trials as a whole. So AI speeds up clinical trials by identifying the right patients faster and predicting trial outcomes using real-time data analysis. This can be useful for things like personalized medicine as well as more general medicine um, in clinical trials. And an example of this that I found was Tempest AI. It's a platform that helps match patients to clinical trials based on their genetic and medical data, which really improves efficiency and success rates. It's a really rapid target just to help the general population to find a specific drug. And lastly, which is a very interesting use of AI in drug discovery, is repurposing existing drugs. So what AI can do is it can analyze specific drugs and find new uses for them, which drastically reduces time and cost for developing treatments. A really interesting development that happened recently was actually the COVID-19 finding a vaccine for the COVID-19 pandemic. So AI identified drugs like remdesivir as potential treatments by analyzing their molecular structures and antiviral properties, and they saw the commonalities between the two diseases and saw how they could solve that using a pre-existing drug, just making accommodations. Next is AI in genomics and gene editing. So, genomics, where AI plays a role, is AI accelerates genomic research by analyzing vast amounts of DNA data quickly, identifying patterns and mutations that would be difficult or time-consuming for humans to detect. So, in gene mutation and detection, AI tools like deep variant analyze whole genome sequences to detect rare mutations associated with diseases. And these can range from things like cancer and even cystic fibrosis and sickle cell disease, which I found in my research, just more rarer and even neurological conditions. It can also help with personalized medicine. AI helps by combining genomic data with patient information to design tailored treatments, such as identifying the best cancer therapies based on a patient's genetic makeup. And we kind of talked about this previously with the drug development type of thing. And also in population genomics, AI analyzes the genomic data from very large populations to identify genetic risk factors for diseases like diabetes or heart disease. And this can obviously enable better prevention strategies and drug development. And the second part, which I want to talk about, is gene editing. So that comes with technologies like CRISPR and also synthetic biology. So AI enhances gene editing by predicting the most efficient and precise DNA modifications, which improves the accuracy and safety of technologies like CRISPR. Um, so AI algorithms that were recently developed include CRISPR-On, and what it basically does is it predicts an optimal guide RNA sequences for precise gene editing. And it also reduces errors and improves editing accuracy in the process. So it's a win-win type of strategy. And then it can also predict gene editing outcomes. So when we do CRISPR, we really want to do it as intricately as possible to maximize the best results. So what AI models can do is it can predict the biological effects of gene edits, which helps researchers avoid unintended consequences and off-target edits in gene therapy, which can reduce the amount of mistakes in the process. And then we also have synthetic biology. AI can assist in designing synthetic genes in organisms by modeling how genetic changes will impact biological systems. So it's kind of like a facilitation to see, I guess, how things will interact, and also by looking at real biologies, just making synthetic things. And AI is a very prominent use in bioengineering and drug production to make synthetic biology. Next is AI in biomanufacturing. This one was one that I could apply to my life the most because in Montgomery College, I am taking a cell culture class, a cell culture lab class, where we do work with cells and incubators and stuff in the hopes of biomanufacturing agents. So AI uses real-time data from bioreactors to optimize key variables, and this includes temperature, oxygen levels, and nutrient supply. And this effectively ensures maximum yield and minimal waste. So in this way, AI can really control the factors of how we grow our cells and other applications of biomanufacturing. However, AI can do so much more in all scopes of biomanufacturing. So it can help with production process optimization. So AI analyzes real-time data from bioreactors to optimize variables like temperature, oxygen, and nutrient levels, ensuring efficient production. So AI can file tunes conditions, including monoclonal antibody production, which maximizes yield while minimizing resource waste, which is what we really want to do in biomanufacturing. It can also help with predictive maintenance. So AI monitors equipment for sensory data to predict failures before they can occur, which reduces the downtime between experiments and working and also helps with costs. So AI can detect unusual vibrations in centrifuges or temperature changes in bioreactors, which enables timely maintenance. And it's also a very useful application of quality control because it ensures that product consistency by analyzing product data is done in real time, which really helps detect defects, variations, or contaminants. An example of this, which I learned throughout my immunology internship, um, was during vaccine production, AI can flag deviations in purity or quality, which prevents costly batch failures. So you can just easily restart or discard all the contaminants before starting with a new batch in creating a vaccine. And then it can also let you know what scaling would look like. So as we know in biotechnology, there's two types of scaling, scaling up and scaling out. AI can create digital twins to simulate the manufacturing process and tell you which one will be more successful based on the type of thing you're working with. So there's various simulations that can test bioreactor performance at a scale as well, which ensures the most optimal results without trial and error, which we really want to aim for. And a really interesting thing that I found was something called Sartorius Biostat, and it's kind of like a AI platform, and which uses AI to monitor and adjust bioreactor conditions like pH, oxygen levels, and nutrient supply in real time, which is very important in both media and the incubator and cell culture. So for making vaccines in relation to biomanufacturing, this reduces consistent quality and reduces variability between batches, which we really want to aim for. And then this is the last slide, which is AI modeling, which I said I was going to talk about in the first slide. Um, Protein structure prediction is really important to find out what a protein would actually look like if we don't know what it actually looks like. So AI plays a crucial role in predicting the 3D structures of proteins, which is very important for understanding diseases and designing targeted therapies and cell therapy, etc. So a specific example of this I found was AlphaFold by DeepMind. And this is a platform or an application that has revolutionized protein structure prediction because it accurately maps complex proteins, which aids in discovery of treatments for diseases like Alzheimer's or cancer. And if you look at the image on the left, you can see the types of proteins that it generates and the specific informations. It shows you the TN score, the PBD ID, and things like that. And it's actually one of the most specific ones that we've seen in this generation. So it's really up and coming technology. But aside from that, it can also stimulate drug target interactions. It can show you how drug molecules interact with specific biological targets, which helps you identify the best drug candidates, which is a very useful thing in drug development. By predicting the binding affinities of molecular dynamics, AI really accelerates the process of doing actual laboratory testing. So when you do these in silico methods, it's a lot more useful in the actual application and also for time. It can also stimulate biological systems. So AI can create detailed virtual models of biological systems, which include cells and organs, showing you how they interact with each other, also how drugs would interact with each other. And these stimulations really help you make hypotheses without the doubt of it, more like. It just helps you like know what the most likely result would be, and it's also very more efficient and cost effective. And then the last point is defense mechanisms. So this is really important in immunology and for vaccine making. With antibodies and how cells defend your body and things like that. So AI models stimulate how diseases progress within the body, as we know. And what this does is it really helps us offer insights into the mechanisms of specific cells and of what the body does when it reacts with things. And by modeling this pathway, we can really see how drug development um, can help us with this and how AI can really facilitate this entire process. So when AI identifies new targets for drugs, it really accelerates the development for treatments. Okay, and that's it. These are some of the sources that I used. And if anyone has any questions,